Hey, progress is progress, and at the current rate of progress, pretty soon I'll actually have a second train station in my city because I've made good progress since the last time once again. So this is really coming together with the major structures. The canopy, or the cover, the roof over the main platform, or half of the platform, is actually attached now. The kind of floor layout of the place is a little better solidified. I've got the attendance booth there actually attached to the plate, or the base plate down beneath. Got a little bit of a template for a gloriously 70s, hopefully 70s, maybe a little bit 80s style there, early 80s. Fence that's done in black powder coated iron or some kind of metal there, but just got a little different kind of style there that needs to be extended around the back. But I need to get some more pieces, and then I also got a slightly different style, just keeping with the curves and the black powder coated metal for the fencing going down the longer end of the platform. But you see how this kind of fits in next to where I'm going to have the maintenance yard for the passenger train system. I'll come in here. So this is just a much better use of space, much more efficient use of space than my first station was, which has a lot of dead space in the equivalent of that area. And worked out exactly where the machines are going to go, and let me take you around to the other side. So I got a few basic kind of skylights that are a little bit frosted in the top. Didn't want those to be just plain clear. I actually put those in mostly not to allow light down onto the platform, but to bring in that greenish, cyanish kind of tinge, which just reminds me of scenes that I saw around train stations and similar things in the early to mid 1980s. Almost has a little bit of a sense of fluorescent lighting, if you think of this being in the evening instead, but during the day I think is just the time when it makes the most sense to me, just bringing in that color, which is not intended to look pretty. It's just intended to kind of capture that era for me. This was made quite some time ago, and they did retrofit it. They did update the machines and such, but most of the structure that's here has been preserved over the decades, just like happens in real life. Not everything is updated, so just kind of captures some things that I wanted to see. And I got some benches in here with a different design. I just wanted to bring in some kind of curving to the backs of them. Ideally, I would have liked these to be completely round and to look just like single poured concrete, molded parts that are just completely all the way around, to really touch back to some things that I remember from my childhood. But at this scale, it's just not feasible at all. You could definitely do it at a larger scale, but with this Lego City scale that I'm going for all of my stuff, I think this was about the best that I could do. And as a tricky little build, I show a picture of how those go together with the studs on the side construction on Instagram. Just, it's kind of a sandwich where you've got studs on the right, studs on the left, and they're attached on basically the sides of the builds of the seats. Might actually shorten the tiles down, the side tiles, the 1x3s down to 1x2s, to make them look a little bit less like couches. But when you realize that this is concrete, it's completely hard, then it doesn't quite look so comfortable as the shape suggests. But I got that same style of fencing coming up back behind here, and that just continues around, so that would kind of just represent what had been originally the standard for this station. And I'm almost ready to start bringing in some minifigs here. Obviously minifigs cannot be securely attached to the benches there, but that's okay, and it's just a compromise for their shape. But yeah, this is coming along pretty soon. It'll actually be done. The next major thing I'm going to do some small details in here, but the next major thing I need to do is figure out what I'm going to do for the flooring, both outside and inside of the station, and I'll probably come up with some small thing to put in there. But I don't want this to be too plain looking, but at the same time I don't want it to look too fancy either. It cannot kind of break the motif. You know, it all has to kind of look like it goes together. The story needs to make sense, needs to continue to make sense as I've figured it out and as it has kind of evolved on its own a little bit. So that's just that. Good progress once again, I think. And I'm looking forward to, like I said, getting this thing done pretty quickly so I can move on. But I'm really happy with actually the choice. I wasn't planning this out quite so much to kind of fit with the overall needs of the city for where things need to be built up in terms of when I need to work on what, but it actually helps to me visually quite a bit to help kind of balance off what areas of this entire city are built up and are closer to completion compared to those that still need work. I think it actually looks better from the other side. But that's enough for this video. I showed you what I wanted to show, and I'm going to get back to work on it. Thanks for watching.